Getting to know him requires patience. Everything about him is a question of time. His slowness has been made fun of and taken as a sign of weakness or stupidity, just adding another mysterious cloud to his strange existence. "10 years ago, a wounded, orphaned sloth was brought to the reserve. Buttercup was a female only a few months old. It was Judy's first encounter with this species of which she knew very little. Since then, she has taken in about 30 of them. They are cared for with the goal of placing them back into their natural habitat, but not all of them are sturdy enough to be released.
Sloths are generally solitary in nature. They're peaceful animals. They don't need to defend themselves since their predators are very rare. They don't fight with each other and have no problem living in the same trees with monkeys. Sunny can't be set free because he has a problem with one of his arms, which he can't use completely.
¿Dónde va, chico? Vámonos. Ay, sí, vámonos. Vas a escaparse. Okay, baby. Okay. Acá ellos. Mira, los machos a los 6 meses comienzan a perder este pelo.
At 6 months, the males begin to lose the hair they were born with in exchange for a darker coat. I think that this dark stripe is a way of distinguishing males from females.
Una manera de saber que ese es un macho y no hembra. Entonces, los dos son machos.
These two males are inseparable. When the time comes, we'll release them together. They play and sleep together and seem to be very fond of each other.
Ese se murió la mamá y él.
This one is an orphan. When he got here, he barely weighed 1 kilogram. Now he's strong and ready to face life in the forest.
There are 5 species of sloth, of which 2 live in Costa Rica. The two-toed Calliope is omnivorous. His diet consists of leaves, fruit, flowers, lizards, and the eggs of small birds and large insects. On the other hand, the 3-toed Bradypus eats only leaves. Here at the center, each border has a different menu based on its species and its needs. About a third of Costa Rica consists of natural parks and game reserves known for their wide variety of rare animals. The reserves are home to a great number of bird species, butterflies, and primitive mammals like the armadillo, the anteater, and the sloth. Some sloths stay at the center for several years. A constant follow-up is essential for their readjustment to life in the wild. Sayani has been Judy's assistant for 7 years. Her life has totally changed since she has devoted all her efforts to protecting the sloth. She's developed a strong affection for these animals and for nature in general. Devo has been free for 2 months now. Since then, he's only traveled a few hundred meters. His behavior is normal, and he seems to be perfectly content. The animal's temperature is calculated from a distance and indicates that he is in good health and free of stress. The tree in which Divo has settled is then marked so as to map out his movements.
Ya. Okay, all right. Ya está agarrando duro. Okay, está acostado aquí. He's sleepy. Okay.
Thanks to a tracer collar placed on the sloth before he's set free, the animal can be easily localized. One of the most important functions of this collar is to measure body temperature. Wild sloths, in order to conserve their strength, can have temperatures varying from 24 to 32 degrees Celsius, depending on the temperature of the air.
Esa es su collarcita. Ya. Vamos a mirar. Okay. She's ready to go. Ella está lista. Okay. Una cosa muy importante que hace el collar en la reintroducción es medir la temperatura.
We put Scooby in an outside cage. This is what we call gradual freedom. She's been in captivity for 2 years. She came to us as a baby and very sick.
La temperatura sube y baja según el ambiente. Estamos poniendo Scooby in una jaula que se llama.
Gradual freedom means not releasing her into the forest immediately. She has to readjust to her environment. If she succeeds, if her behavior is satisfactory, we'll set her free in 3 or 4 weeks.
Y el reintroducción suave quiere decir que ellos no podemos poner directamente en la selva.
All right, talk to you later, Tom. Judy, it's for you, Stam from Cahuita.
Over the years, Judy's work has become well known throughout the region, and she is regularly called upon to rescue sloths.
Uh-oh. Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. He has a baby sloth that fell, and he wants me to go pick it up. So
Okay, you can take the car.
Okay.
You take Sienna with you.
Okay. Be right back.
A few kilometers from Aviarios is the small city of Cahuita, located at the edge of the forest. The continuously expanding population encroaches more and more each year on wild animal territory. Unfortunately, these animals are often the victim of human beings.
It fell out of the tree. Big tree over in the park.
Uh-huh.
One of the kids told me, yeah.
Uh-huh. And you couldn't find her mother.
No.
Oh, look at her. Oh,
They said she fell real hard, fell out of the tree. So
Tom is an old friend of Judy's. When he found this baby on the ground, he searched for the mother in the trees nearby, but she was nowhere to be found. Little by little, in spite of everything, the local people are becoming more sensitive to this type of animal. Judy's caring and the energy she spends on her boarders has had its effect and is changing people's way of thinking, convincing them of the necessity of preserving this natural treasure around them.
You're his rescuer. Okay. Bye-bye. Mucha fuerza, pero... Okay. 2.2. Sin peso.
Once at the center, the little orphan is examined, measured, and cleaned. Except for being slightly dehydrated, there are no injuries, fractures, or parasites.
Vamos a darle. Ellos nacen con los dientes blanquiticas. Ve ahí, ve, está
At
comiendo
birth,
hojas.
sloths have very white teeth. When they start eating leaves, their teeth get stained. We can see that this little one was still nursing, but he's already on a mixed diet. That's good for us, since at this stage we know how to feed him. In addition to milk, we can give him leaves, fruit, and vegetables.
Vamos a tratar con un leche, pero una fórmula de leche, pero también hojas, frutas, vegetales. Está muy calmo. Cute, ¿verdad? Ay, mira. Muy bien. Esa es una mezcla de leche de cabra.
The milk we prepare for the bottles is a mixture of goat's milk and a protein product called esbilac, used in zoos for many different mammals. We don't know the sloth's milk formula. We have a female, Juliet. We think she's pregnant. When the time comes, we want to study the exact composition of her milk throughout the nursing period. We already know how to feed them, but I feel we can learn more in order to make the animals stronger and thus prepare them better for their reinsertion into nature.
Hay un problema que nosotros tenemos que, por ejemplo, esos animales son con
There's a
los
big
madres
problem we encounter.
por
For the first 7 months, baby sloths never let go of their mothers.
hasta que tiene un año, 9 meses hasta un
To
año.
compensate for this very important physical contact, we give them something to hold on to, like this stuffed animal.
Se hace mucho falta, aunque es un juguete, ellos necesitan el contacto.
What was that? Huh? What was that, Mowgli?
Bueno.
Three weeks have gone by. Scooby's behavior is normal. He seems perfectly adapted to the sounds of the forest, the solitude, and the inclement weather. Every day, the sloths are permitted to go into the trees. It's a sort of refresher course so that they don't forget their natural instincts. One of the imminent dangers once they're set free is falling out of the tree.
Ellos usan el nariz mucho para oler las ramas y en la selva para probar si son muertos o tan suficiente fuertes.
Sloths use their sense of smell a lot to recognize a healthy branch that can hold their weight from a dead branch. Those animals in the gradual readjustment program can sniff and test the branches at will.
Para probar las ramas, huele las ramas y ya sabe que se puede su peso. Está sudando el nariz.
Zephyr can never be set free. An accident while crossing the road permanently injured his right hand. After each recreation period, his one goal is to get back to his cage. In the wild, the sloth spends very little time on the ground. He has difficulty crawling and can only travel short distances. He rarely comes down from his tree, usually to defecate every 8 to 10 days.
Venga. Ok, venga. Venga.
Y el otro chico.
¿Estos animales son nocturnos o diurnos?
Esto es más nocturno, de dos dedos.
The greatest threat to the sloth is man. Deforestation and reduction of his habitat have put his survival in danger. He is sometimes attacked in the trees out of pure cruelty. Mothers are often killed to steal the babies for pets. To avoid all this, children of the region are taught not to be afraid of sloths, but to love and respect them, as well as their environment.
No les gusta que le toquen la cabeza.
Ustedes llevan tiempo estudiando, investigando todos acerca de estos animales.
Exactamente.
¿Qué les ha motivado a ustedes para...?
Está enamorado. Esto se llama Zephyr.
Tienen miedo todavía, ¿verdad? ¿O no?
All the data gathered during the day are carefully filed. As an expert on the subject, Judy shares her knowledge with researchers and biologists throughout the world. The Aviarios Reserve is not totally satisfactory in Judy's opinion. There is still one dangerous territory, crossed by a road bordering an increasingly populated area. Judy's goal is to buy a neighboring island, which would be an ideal spot to set the sloths free.
Hoy es el día. Venga. Hola. Ok, vamos. No, aquí no. Ay, ya. Ok. Vamos. Hoy es el día.
Scooby is now ready to go back to nature. He's led into the forest to be placed in a tree, but not just any tree, one with leaves he can eat and branches he can climb.
Como está ese sangrillo y número 2, recibimos este número 2 algo. Sí. Y está hesitante pero subiendo. Bueno, volvemos dentro de una hora para ver cómo están, si cambió la posición. En aquella dirección. Okay.
Judy is always very moved when she releases one of her boarders. During the months and years in captivity, she's become very attached to Scooby, who will now have to readjust to his freedom and fend for himself. Some sloths require medical follow-up. Juliet is pregnant. It's the first pregnancy Judy has ever encountered. Dr. Moncada comes to the center regularly. She's become a friend and supporter of the project. The checkup goes well. Juliet is in good health.
Eso está muy bien. Eso está muy bien. Vamos a palpar ese abdomen.
During the mating season, the female lets out a sharp cry to attract the male's attention. During mating, the couple are interlocked together for 48 hours, during which the male's body shivers constantly. The gestation period varies from 5 to 11 months. Actually, the female can extend the fertilization period or slow down the growth of the fetus according to outside conditions such as the abundance or lack of food or drought.
Sí, vamos a tomarle la temperatura entonces.
Recent years have seen a new awareness in Costa Rica of the importance of protecting flora and fauna, in spite of the numerous problems to be resolved concerning deforestation and pollution often linked to the banana industry. The influence of tourism and of numerous organizations have contributed to the creation of several parks and reserves. This progress, however, is also thanks to local people like Judy Arroyo and their effective animal protection programs. Judy now works with the authorities. Sloths found on the reserves which require care are given to her. A great many sloths have already been rescued and released into nature. Sam was brought here 2 months ago. He was infested with parasites and in very poor condition. He's now been returned not far from where he was captured, the Cahuita National Reserve.
No, él tiene su itinerario. Él sabe cuándo quiere ir. Bueno, okay. Qué bien, pero esta actitud es bueno porque ya sabemos.
This is a positive attitude, a good sign. It means that nobody can get close to him and take him away. It also shows that he's happy in his natural environment. What concerns us most when they're in captivity is that they'll lose their natural instincts and become too confident with human beings.
The sloth has been taking his time for millions of years. At the end of the Ice Age, the ancestor of the sloth was the size of an elephant. Some claim that he was domesticated by man 12,000 years ago. What motivated these men to adopt him? Another unanswered question about this mysterious animal. What does he dream about in his slow-motion life and his unending dreams?